Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to a new video. In this video, I'm going to show you a collection of browser extensions that can support different stages of VAPT as well as bug bounty hunting. Instead of simply listing extensions, we'll organize them around practical testing workflows. First would be reconnaissance and technology identification. Second would be client-side and business logic testing. Third would be session management. And finally, extensions that improve testing coverage and productivity. So without waiting, let's get started. As a part of reconnaissance and exposure identification, the first extension in the list is Wappalyzer. Wappalyzer deals with technology fingerprinting. It is normally one of the first steps in web application testing. Before testing an application, we need to understand what it may be built with. Wappalyzer passively analyzes information such as page contents, scripts, cookies, and response characteristics to identify technologies being used by the website. As a part of the practical demonstration, I am just sharing my screen. As you can see, Wappalyzer is already present in Chrome store. It is also present in Firefox by default. You can go to the store and directly add it to your Chrome or Firefox, whichever browser you may choose, right? Uh, when it's added, it will come in the extensions tab here. If you can scroll down a bit, you see Wappalyzer already present in the extensions tab for my browser. As a part of demo, I would like to demonstrate some websites here. I have some websites open. First would be Sony. If you can see, I have Sony website loaded. If I go to Wappalyzer extension here, it helps me in understanding what kind of technologies are in used in Sony website. For example, if you see here, it's using JavaScript framework Vue, right? It is also letting me know that in the backend there is Apache HTTP server in use. There is CDN in use of Cloudflare and Akamai by the website, and it also tells me the JavaScript libraries such as jQuery and its version that is in use. So it's a very good information to know when you are basically assessing an application from a pen testing point of view or from a development point of view as well, just to understand the whole tech stack of the application. Similarly, we can check in other websites also. Let's go to Tesla. I have Tesla open here. So if you can see, when you go to Wappalyzer, it will tell us the tech stack that is basically in use here. Right now it's analyzing it. Yeah, it is telling us that there is Drupal CMS in use. So in the previous website, there is no CMS in use for Sony, but in Tesla, it looks like there is Drupal CMS, that too version of 9 is in use. The programming language here is PHP, and the front-end framework here is React that we can see. Like Sony, there is a CDN also in use in Tesla, that is, Akamai CDN in use. We can go to any website of our choice. The third website, just for sample, is Apple. If you can see here, again, similarly, we can use Wappalyzer to assess the technology stack of Apple as well. It takes some time sometimes to analyze the technology stack and give us an output. Let's say refresh the browser session here. Okay, yeah, it is starting to analyze and it is telling us that it's, the like, just like I think Tesla, React is used here as well. React is quite popular. Yeah, if you can see here, there is JavaScript libraries such as Lodash in use. Along with Lodash, it is also telling us a Lodash version in use as well. For analytics, they are using Adobe Analytics. Yeah, and this kind of information can help us in assessing the application security posture on a whole as well. Sometimes we might end up finding vulnerable versions of libraries in use. We might end up finding, front-end development tech stack, etc., etc. This kind of information can, help us in assessing the security posture of the application from a without intercepting the traffic using burp suite, or without using any fancy tool here. The second extension on the list for reconnaissance is Retire.js. Retire.js checks the JavaScript libraries loaded by the web application and compares their version against known vulnerability information. This is particularly useful for large single-page applications that load many client-side dependencies. During an assessment, Retire.js can help identify an old library version that may be associated with vulnerabilities such as XSS, prototype pollution, or even some well-known client-side weaknesses. As you can see here, Retire.js is already available in Firefox. It is also there in Chrome. As a part of practical demonstration, I think we had shown Sony website previously. We'll use the same for demonstration this time as well. When you scroll down to the Retire.js extension, it will show us the libraries that are in use along with the versions, and if they are vulnerable version, it might pop up in red. In this case, I think Swiper is in use, and it is telling us that Swiper 5.4.5 is in use, and it has a known CV from the past, from 2021 even here. So yeah, we can look up the CV and we can get more information about the CV as well as the version of Swiper in use here. It also tells us jQuery and Vue version used here, which looks like an updated version. Hence, it is highlighted in green here. It might not have any known vulnerabilities here, so yeah, it's coming in green here. This can be a good information for us to understand websites, their extensions in use, libraries in use, and yeah, if they have any vulnerability dependencies in use. We can check for Tesla also similarly. Let's refresh Tesla's session here. And yeah, if you go to Retire.js, let's see if it identifies anything here. Okay, it's not giving us. Okay, it's taking time to reload here. Okay, yeah, as you can see for Tesla, it's telling us React DOM is in use. It is also telling us DOM Purify is in use, and it's telling that there are a lot of CVs that DOM Purify is vulnerable to. It is giving a CV from 2026 here, and we can see a list of CVs that Tesla's main website is vulnerable to. Yeah, just because Retire.js is giving us some vulnerabilities, that doesn't mean that the application is actually vulnerable to these vulnerabilities. We'll have to also manually verify it. So just don't rely on Retire.js output here. But yeah, saying that, it helps us in getting a lot of details on the dependencies that are used in the website, and it helps us in identifying CVs without us doing manual research of our own. Yeah, that is how helpful Retire.js is. The third extension for reconnaissance in the list is .git. .git checks for websites for exposed repositories and development related files, which includes Git metadata and other potentially sensitive files. Just like Retire.js and other extensions that I've shown in the past, it is also available in Chrome as well as Firefox. You can maybe add it to your extension list and we can use it. This personally is one of my favorite extension to use. It specifically runs in the backend, and when you are traversing through various websites in the internet, it keeps on crawling and checking if the websites have .git folder or any sensitive folders publicly accessible. So the website that you see in front of you right now was one of the websites that I was just manually scrolling through, and I got to know that there is a .git file accessible here. If I can show you, you can see the .git console here. Right now, it is telling me that there's no, zero findings here. There is no .git file that has been accessible or found in any of the websites. But let me just refresh the session here. Yeah. So once I have refreshed the session here, you can see notification here saying there is one .git file that has been identified. When I go to it, it tells me that there's a .git file accessible and register this website, right? So I can maybe download the file, and once I download the file, I can manually view the .git files locally, and yeah, this can help us in identifying a lot of vulnerabilities as well. The fourth extension on the list is TruffleHog. TruffleHog is a browser-based extension that can inspect loaded pages and JavaScript resources for patterns that resemble secrets. As you can see here, TruffleHog is also available in Firefox. It is also there in Chrome. We can make a use of this just like other extensions for various purposes. In this case, TruffleHog's use case is to find secrets. So the same use case is very simple. TruffleHog, once you add it to the extension list, it will reflect in your extension section of your browser, just like any other extension. When you go to any website, like let's say if I go to GitHub, TruffleHog's own repository here, when I refresh the page, it gives up a pop-up. So this is how handy TruffleHog as an extension is, that when we browse through any website, it gives us a pop-up signifying there is some secret that has been identified. In this case, it is telling us that AWS API keys and secret has been identified in this GitHub repo. Yeah, it is also telling us, giving us different API keys here. I guess there are different API keys present here, which was decoded from a JWT token here. The front pattern that I can see here was from a JWT token. Yeah. Similarly, if you go to another, let's say GitHub repo, let's refresh the session. And yeah, here it is telling us that there is a username and password that has been identified in this GitHub repo. Similarly, when we traverse through various websites, it gives us different output and secrets. Similarly, here it is telling us that it has identified a RSA private key here. So this kind of pop-ups come across whenever we traverse through any website. Sometimes it helps us in identifying security vulnerabilities as well that have been present in the website from a long time. It can be secrets that have been hard-coded in JavaScript files, or it can be anything, right? So yeah, TruffleHog is a handy extension. I would definitely recommend using this in a day-to-day use case or day-to-day browsing as well. So the fifth and the last extension that I want to cover as a part of reconnaissance is Shodan. Shodan is a browser extension that adds infrastructure context to the website currently open in the browser. It may show where the application is hosted. It can also show information about the IP addresses and other services that Shodan previously observed. This is useful because web application rarely exist in complete isolation here. So same infrastructure may expose SSH services or even mail interfaces or administrative interfaces as well. Sometimes it also exposes API documentation pages that are like hosted over different ports. So anything and everything about IP addresses related to ports and services can be identified through Shodan here. As a part of example, I have just demonstrated my screen here. As you can see, Shodan is already present in Chrome as well as Firefox store. You can directly add it to your browser like any other extension and start using it. For demonstration, I am using Sony website here. So if you can see, when I go to Sony website, I can see that Shodan has identified two ports and services open in the past. It gives us host name associated with it. It tells us the IP address as well. And if I want to know further information about the IP address, I can maybe go to view IP address. And yeah, it will route us to Shodan.io website, and it tells us different information about the origin of the IP, which is United States. It tells us the city that it's part of. It tells us who is it owned by. It tells us about ISP, ASN number, and yeah, various other details. Similarly, if you go to Tesla, we can identify ports and services that are open in Tesla also. As you can see, the same set of ports and services that are supposed to be accessible, that is 80 and 443, are accessible in Tesla as well. To check further, let's open edu website here. As you can see, okay, here we can see a lot of ports and services accessible. The IP that is resolving to the edu website is 172 series IP. This is a public IP range, obviously, and the set of ports that are open are 80, 443, 8080, 8880, and yeah, various other websites that you can see here. Ports and services. So you can even access the port. When you press on the port, it tries to open the website or the IP over the same port to see if there is anything accessible here. You can try to do the same with other ports and services. If the port and service is accessible over the browser, it is blue in color generally. If it's gray in color, it generally means that you can't access the website or IP over browser in the same port here. So the only ports that are accessible to us is 8443 and 880 over browser. The remaining ports that you can see here might be ports and services which have some services running on it, and it might not be accessible over browser. Yeah, it's a handy extension to use, and I would highly recommend using it on a day-to-day basis to understand the IP address in use for any website that you are accessing, as well as to check and know the ports and services that are accessible over that. So with that, we have completed enumeration on a high level. After enumeration, we have client-side and business logic testing. So one of the extension that I would really like using while doing client-side testing is an extension called as XNL Reveal. So XNL Reveal helps exposing information that may not be visible through the normal user interface. It can reveal hidden elements, enable disable form controls, highlight reflected parameters, and even display additional endpoints gathered from external sources. So this is again available in Chrome as well as Firefox. You can just add it as an extension in your browser. And as a demo, we can use Airtel website here. As you can see, without entering a number, the form field is generally disabled. It is a case where we are browsing to a lot of websites. We see a lot of form fields disabled by default. There is a client-side parameter uh, there's a client-side validation that forces us to enter details before submitting the details. However, sometimes without doing that as well, we can submit the details as there is no server-side validation in place. So in this case, we can just use XML reveal as an extension here. I will just left click in the browser and I will try to enter an option called as enabled disabled elements. So once I do that, if you can see, the button gets enabled by default. Now this can be done manually as well by going through developer tools, but yeah, this is a convenient extension to have as it helps in doing all the features at once rather than doing one at a time, right? If there are 10 form fields or 10 buttons that are disabled, if I want to enable all of them at once, I can do that. It's really convenient in doing that. And apart from that, it also can help us in getting webback endpoints. It can help us in getting or showing hidden endpoints here. Yeah, so it can be a quite handy extension to use. You can try it out yourself. Yeah. The second extension that I would like to recommend is an extension called as KNOXSS. So KNOXSS is a community edition extension that is provided in Firefox. It can help in identifying reflected or DOM-based injection points, and it can also help us in identifying reflected accesses as well. In some cases, it is also successful in identifying error-based SQL injections as well. So to give a demo, I have opened a website here. As you can see, it's a demo website that has been built. It's a vulnerable application by default, which will help us in showcasing the vulnerability. So as you can see, I have already added the extension here. The extension KNOXSS community is already present in my extension tab. So all I need to do is enable it, and as you can see, it started to crawl to the website and started to identify certain vulnerabilities here. As it's saying here, there is post-based accesses in the application. Let's try to close all the tabs and let's try to search something here and go somewhere. Okay, till now, apart from that, there's nothing that it has identified. If I do something, let's say refresh the browser. Okay, apart from those three pop-ups, we didn't get anything. Let's close it again and let's try it again. Okay, again, it has tried to enter some payloads and it has been successful in identifying post-based accesses here. Okay, we got a reflected accesses also here. And if I make it or enlarge it, if you can see, there is a payload here, SVG payload, that it has pasted by default, and it has automatically identified and reflected accesses also. Yeah, so similarly, it can be helpful in identifying error-based SQL injections also. There are cases where it identifies error-based SQL injections also. So you can give this a try. It can help us in automating injection-based attacks as well. So after client-side testing, let's move on to session management. As a part of session management, the extension that I would want to discuss about is PwnFox. So PwnFox is an amazing extension that helps us in containerizing a browser tab. When I say containerization, I think it's better for me to explain it with an example. So let's say this is an application where I have logged in using an admin user. If I want to log in inside a different user in the same browser, I'll not be able to. Let me just show that to you. For example, if I go to testfire.net and if I want to see my account, as you can see, the session from the first tab gets extended to the session tab. Uh, so I'll not be able to log in inside the same browser using a different user credential here. Now, what happens with browser containerization is that I will be able to do the same in the same browser in a different tab via PwnFox. I'll just show that to you. So using PwnFox, what we can do is we can containerize a tab. So when I open it, let's say if I want to give it a red tab here, the red tab here is containerized now, and the session that is from the first tab won't be carry forwarded to the second tab. So when I go to testfire.net now, as you can see, I'm logged out now. So if I want to log in inside a different user, let me just show it to you. I will be able to log in. So right now in the first tab, I have admin user account. In the second tab, I have John Smith. And if I want to log in inside 10 different user roles, I can containerize 10 different tabs inside the same browser and open 10 different users. So what it will help in doing is that it will help us to differentiate from a UI point of view. So in the admin, if you see, there is an administration module here. In normal user, there is no administration module here. If you see here, the account details is different here. If you see here, the account details is different. So these are the UI changes that we can see on top of our eyes right now or mind right now. But yeah, there might be API level changes and things of that nature, which will obviously be there. But yeah, from a authorization point of view and from a UI point of view, we can clearly see the segregation between the two user roles and make test cases accordingly based on the UI changes that we are able to see here. So let's move on to coverage and productivity part. As a part of this, I would want to discuss about two different extensions here. First is open multiple URLs. During reconnaissance, we may collect dozens of or even hundreds of endpoints from JavaScript analysis, archived URLs, or content discovery. As a part of VAPT, red teaming, or bug bounty hunting, we might also come across multiple subdomains at once when we are doing reconnaissance. As an example, what I've done is I have done a small subdomain enumeration on Claude here to show an example. So as you can see, we have identified a lot of subdomains that are specific to Claude here, and it is really impossible for us to sit and open all the URLs at once. At least here in Claude, there are around 20 URLs. Opening 20 URLs one by one takes a lot of time. When there is a huge scope like Microsoft, Google, right, there might be thousands of URL even. So opening all of them at once, sitting one by one, is kind of a tedious task. So what we can do is we can use open multiple URLs here. What we'll do is we'll copy this URLs here. We'll go to the browser. We'll use open multiple URLs extension. We'll paste it here, and we'll open all at once. So if you see here, all of the URLs open at once. What all we need to do is traverse to each and every URL or each and every tab manually. We can open this, we can second, we can close it if you don't like it, and so on and so forth. We can just traverse through all the URLs that are opening one after another in the tab, and it becomes easier for us to see the content. If we have any interest in any content, then we can sit and browse on it. Otherwise, we can close those. Similarly, if we have identified any URLs as a part of archive analysis also. In this case, I think if you see, we have used Go to identify all the Webpack archives URLs here for this website. Traversing through all and checking one by one might take a lot of time. So again, we can use a similar technique here, copy, paste it in the browser, the extension multiple URLs, and we can open all at once and check it. It helps a lot and it saves a lot of time. Another extension that I want to talk about is Broken Link Checker here. Broken Link Checker extension are usually associated with development and SEO, but they can also provide useful leads during security assessment. Broken links may point towards removed pages, deprecated functionalities, old administrative paths, or even incomplete migrations. Sometimes broken link hijacking issues can also be identified using such extensions. To show a practical demonstration, I have a website already open. I have in fact two extensions to show you here. First is Broken Link Checker. I also have another extension called as Link Checker. Both of them do the same thing. I'll just show you the output of both. So I have already run a scan using Broken Link Checker here. I have the output open here at my side. If you can see here, it will tell us the list of broken links, it will tell us valid links, and yeah, we can just set up the filters here and we can run the scan accordingly. The second extension here is Link Checker, which basically goes to the entire or crawls to the entire website and tells us which are the website pages that are okay, which is redirecting, and which is failed. As you can see, there is the red indicates failure here. If you go to locations, as per it should fail. And yeah, we can see that there is an error that has occurred while opening a location page here, which was the right message that was displayed from link checker output. So yeah, this can be used for various purposes. As I discussed, it can be used by development team for during development to identify broken links. It can be identified by security consultants like you and me to identify broken link hijacking and various other security vulnerabilities as well. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As the video has gone long, we have just covered 10 browser extensions here. I have covered more in my blog. If you want to check it out, it's in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment on this video and subscribe to the channel if you found this video helpful. I can make a second part of this video. Please let me know if you want me to talk more about such extensions. If I get comments in this video, I will make a second part covering more extensions. Thank you very much. See you on the next one.